Hey all y'all, Zeke here. My born-to-be-fired self is sitting today at the Habano BarCafe in Hollywood. That's right, Hollywood, Florida. Oh yeah, oh my, sitting right here in Hollywood, smoking a cigar in a cozy atmosphere, surrounded by beautiful women. Two of these beautiful women, no, let me take that back. Two of the women who are flat out muy caliente are Raquel and Liliana, the owners of the Habano BarCafe. And do I mean muy caliente? In fact, that little bark you hear in the back is part of their board of directors, Fluffy and Princey. Some cute dogs, you'll see their picture also on the site. So, here we are at the Habano BarCafe. We've got a situation here. These astute women, these business owners, are not just smoking, but they are smoking cigars, and that isn't the only thing going on here. We got all kinds of people walking in and out of here. You heard some chairs moving there perhaps. That's all good because it means the money's flowing and the cigars are being smoked. You know, the cigar they gave me to smoke is 100 ring gauge by about 18 to 20 inches long. Oh my, so born to be fired. And for these ladies to have a cigar that big around the Habano BarCafe, they, like all of us, were definitely born to be fired. Raquel and Liliana, I want to thank you for having me here today and tolerating me through all the times we've been sitting around in your place smoking cigars.
Our pleasure.
Born to be fired, it's a lifestyle. When did you find out that you had an affinity for a fine cigar?
Well, since I was little, as my father smoked cigar, we're from Cuba originally, and he smoked cigar at home or at work, and I always loved the smell. It reminded me of my childhood, and I always had affinity for that. And now and then he would let me smoke of the cigars he was smoking, so I understand what it is, and I kind of liked it. So as a grown-up, I wanted to experience it and continue the tradition. I loved it.
So you've been smoking cigars a good while now.
A very long while, yeah.
And it's nice that you got
One
to
of the
start.
pioneers.
You started when you were about 6 years old, because the way you look, I know you're just busting through your 20s.
Why 6 years? 6 months.
6 months, all right. You were definitely born to be fired. How about you, Liliana? When did you have your first cigar?
About 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago. What was the influence that took you to that born-to-be lifestyle, that born-to-be-fired lifestyle?
Lady Cherches here.
Oh, my. She's an influence, no doubt. A force to be reckoned with. Oh, my.
Absolutely.
You know, the lady of influence, Raquel, you're from Cuba originally, and Liliana, you're originally from Peru. Did I get that right?
That's
Yes,
right.
that is
That's
correct,
right.
Zeke.
And now here you are in Hollywood, Florida.
Yes.
Oh my. When did you decide to get a cigar business?
I did not decide. The cigar business decided for me. It just so happened that Liliana and I, we are partners in several other businesses, and one time we drove around here as part of our ride from a meeting, and we wanted to have a cup of coffee. And of course, me being a cigar aficionada, we saw the place and we said, oh, they sell cigars and coffee, so I would love to have a cigar. And we came in here, and from the conversation with the owner, we realized that he was contemplating to sell the place. And to make a very long story short, here we are. We bought the place.
So, how long was it from when you found out? And by the way, y'all, that clicking in the background is a very nice lighter firing up another premium cigar. Hey, we are so, oh my gosh, and it's another woman smoker. Welcome to the environment, dear.
Hello, hello.
Hey,
It's really
hey. How long was it from when you walked in that first time to when you went ahead and took the big step forward and got a cigar shop of your own?
Well, the moment we came that day,
It
the
was
decision
10
was
10
made.
minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes after.
10 minutes, we already knew we were playing the place.
Decisiveness, that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, that's
Actually,
the key.
it was that way.
You know, when you're in the cigar business, what influences have you seen in this world, in this country, that are directly relating to cigars?
What influence?
What influences are out there? When people kick back and smoke a cigar, of course, there are people of influence, and there are people who are of influence in their own lives, whether they realize it or not. So they need to step up, fire themselves, and be influenced by firing smoke, and then hire themselves
Hire
back.
themselves, yeah. Well, I think that most of the people that smoke cigars are people that have been around the block and people that have done a lot of things in life. And they just enjoy. The cigar is a way of enjoying conversation, socializing. It's a culture. And normally, yes, it's by people that have some kind of influence, if you may say, because it's normally not the masses that smoke cigars. It's people that have more, I think, are more distinguished.
More
I would say.
distinct.
Yes.
Men and women alike.
Men and women alike, yeah.
Yes. You know, now all y'all bought this cozy cigar cafe, and instead of starting one from scratch, you bought this place. What did you ever think about starting a cigar shop from scratch?
Never before. It crossed my mind.
So this was a born to be fired moment. You just said, "Hey, we're in."
We're in.
Gotta
10
love
minutes.
that. Gotta love that. 10 minutes. So y'all, when you're sitting around thinking about your life and whether you should get in, perhaps, to whatever you want to get into in life, don't let yourself set up stumbling blocks by sitting here and thinking about things too long. Fire yourself. Think for a moment, maybe 10 minutes.
That's it.
Hire yourself back and get on with it.
That's it.
Oh, you gotta love the born to be fired lifestyle.
Well
That's
said.
right.
Well said.
You know, obviously, you know I love your place here, and who couldn't love the two of you? Intelligence, beauty, and two women who smoke cigars. What a powerful combination. As the Born to be Fired followers will see from the pictures of the Habano BarCafe here in Hollywood, Florida, you have deep, rich woods throughout, a bar that lends itself to connecting people not only with other men and women, but with their own born to be fired selves as they smoke any of the wide variety of cigars you offer and sip from the assortment of adult legal beverages that you offer as well. By the way, your furniture is very comfortable. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because you know, when you're a fairly large man, it's hard to find the right furniture. Can you tell me, with this furniture, it's upholstered, it's not leather. Tell us all how you happened upon this upholstery versus leather concept in your furniture.
Well, the core of the shop, in a way, has to reflect us and our personalities and what we want to convey to our clientele. So that has to do a lot with how the place looks like.
The finer touch.
Right, and we pride ourselves in the fact that people come in here and they feel like they're walking into the living room of somebody's home rather than to a shop. And part of the furniture existed from before, and before we thought of changing it, we said, you know what, we actually love that concept, so we changed a few things, we added more, but we kept that concept remaining of more a warm, cozy, like you said before, and more like living room of a home.
Now, did I hear you right when you said a woman owned this prior to you?
No, a
Nope.
man.
A man did.
Yes.
So the trusting of your patrons that they will not put a burn hole in your furniture continues on a second generation.
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing. Oh my. You know, we're all born to be fired, but it'd be nice if somebody trusts us a little bit to go ahead and just sit down, relax, not worry about it, and smoke them up. Oh, Raquel, Liliana, you have both men and women clients. What's the difference between men and women smoking cigars? I'm asked all the time. I'd like to know from a couple ladies.
What is the difference between men and
the women smoking the cigars?
Yeah, I think most of the men that come here, they know exactly what they want. They come here and they look for what they want, and they may ask if we can recommend something. But women are much more open-minded to try new cigars. And actually, when they buy a variety of cigars and try them. They're very much open-minded because I think it's a young culture for women. I mean, I smoked for many years, but in general, it's a younger culture, so they're eager to learn, and they're open for suggestions. So that's I think very refreshing.
So, is that something you'd recommend for people that are new into cigar smoking, pondering about getting into cigar smoking, or maybe been around a little while and trying to figure out what cigar to smoke, to try a bunch of different ones?
Try a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
We recommend to them first the light ones or the flavored ones if they're not very familiar, and then grow into experimenting more with different cigars, definitely.
Right.
And they're very open-minded.
Like smoking some of these dark, rich Maderos that I enjoy so much
Yes.
that may require training wheels. If
You graduated a while ago, but they're for young, for people that are novice, they would not go for what you're smoking.
Hey, now when they say that I graduated some time ago, that doesn't mean that I'm an old crusty guy, because I fire myself regularly. I gets the crust off.
And I only talked about the cigar graduation. I'm not talking about anything else.
Hey, thank you very much. Women as a whole are a little shy or standoffish about smoking cigars. Help me here. I'm just a born-to-be-fired man. What can be said to women to encourage them to embrace the benefits of firing up a fine premium cigar?
What are the benefits?
Yes. And what can we do to encourage them to step up to the plate?
Well, I will say that I would not call it what did you just say?
What do I say?
Benefits. I would not call it benefits, but I will call it maybe indulgent yourself. If you're into smoking, a woman might want to try to experience smoking a cigar instead of smoking a cigarette, because it's a totally different experience.
Liliana, did you ever smoke cigarettes?
Yes.
And what have you found from personal experience to be the difference between smoking cigarettes and indulging in a premium cigar?
Well, I would say that smoking cigarettes is an addiction, and smoking cigars, it's a culture. It's an experience, as I repeat, it's an experience instead of anything else. With that, there is a good conversation, there is appreciation for the flavor and the moment. That's a totally different experience than smoking a cigarette.
Do you find it to be more meditational than a cigarette?
Absolutely.
If you want to call it, yes, absolutely, yes.
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 And it's normally accompanied by a fine spirit, fine liquor, wine. It's like a whole culture around it.
You know, in my Ask Zeke Q&A section of the website, a woman told me that she had 3 children, a husband who was gainfully employed in the field of law enforcement, worked a full-time job, and she didn't know how to even have time to breathe. And one of the things I suggested to her was to fire herself, of course. Take a moment on her veranda or patio, smoke a cigar, and then hire herself back and and if she wanted her husband to join her, to let him know that he was more than welcome to have his own cigar or share the cigar with her, but to just be still and be quiet and let the day go by. How do you feel about that advice?
It's an excellent advice because by the nature of smoking cigar, you cause that moment of meditation, of relaxation. Like Liliana said, you don't sit and smoke a cigar like a cigarette while you do your thing and don't pay attention to the cigar. The cigar is something, it's a work of art. The way it's wrapped, the color of it, the shape of it, something that you really enjoy and you cannot take it lightly and do anything else, cut the grass or do any kind of work while you do it. You have to sit down and indulge and think and enjoy the moment, whether it's 10 minutes or half an hour.
I would say it's like just imagine having a bubble bath.
Exactly.
In a total relaxation of a beautiful bathroom with a glass of champagne in your hand. Just imagine that.
Oh my, I am imagining that. I'm imagining it right now.
That's a perfect
and maybe even do that thing with the fan turned on to suck not only the humidity out of your bathroom, but also take the vapors of your cigar with it as you have your champagne and the bubbles, huh?
And I must admit that I have done it a few times, sitting in my bath and smoking a cigar.
Oh my gosh, if that doesn't stir the very inner core of our readers and listeners to Born to be Fired, I don't know well. Oh my. Well, you covered a whole bunch of information right there that I wanted to ask you these questions. And another question I have for y'all is, what is some of your favorite cigars?
Okay, let me tell you, that's an interesting question. Before we had this store, I tend to smoke like 3 brands that I was familiar with, that I loved, and I always gravitated to them. I did not know there are so many lines of cigars existed. But being in the business now, I realize that there's so many other brands that every day I explore a new one. So I don't have a favorite. A favorite cigar is what you like. My favorite may not be your favorite. So there's cigars that I love that for me, they're good for me for the way I like to taste a cigar. So there are like, I would say like 10 of them that I like, but I'm always open to try a new one. And there's so many boutique cigars that you may call, and cigars from different parts of the world that I love to try.
So it's kind of like going shoe shopping. You got to have a whole bunch of shoes to go with a whole bunch of different outfits, and cigars are the same way, something for different parts of the day and certain moods.
Yeah, you may say that, but to me it's more, I can compare it to tasting wine.
Tell me about that.
Like, you may have wines that you like you like Cabernet, or you like Merlot or Pinot, but then people introduce you to different types of them. It may be the same grape, but just the way they harvest it, the way they taste the bouquets. This is the same with the cigar, the different fillers, the different binders, the little touch of spices that you put in. So it's exciting. To me, it's like the wine, and I love wine. I love to drink good wine. But I cannot tell you that I like specific wine. I'm always open to try different types of wine, like cigars.
So when you as a business owners that y'all are, when somebody walks in here to introduce their line of cigars to y'all, with obviously they want them on your shelves, aside from price point, let's just get out of the way of the price point.
Right.
There's different cigars at different price points. There's something for everybody. How do you go about making a decision on what cigars are going to be in your Habano BarCafe?
The way we do it is they leave samples. We try them. If we like them, and again, it's not about us liking it for ourselves, but if we like that, we feel that it has quality.
Quality, right.
We would
have quality.
It must have quality. Then we would contemplate putting it on a shelf, but it has to have quality.
So, talk to me about quality.
In the cigar business, when you roll a cigar, it's made of different leaves, different fillers and binders, and you can put anything inside and wrap it nicely.
But if the leaves don't have the quality that to make it rich, to make it flavor, to give the flavor, then no. I mean, there's some cigars that we got. I'm not going to mention names, that we tried them, and they didn't have the quality. We don't know who made them, how they made them, but they had a brand name. But it wasn't justified to carry that name because we felt that maybe it was not the real thing. I mean, we're very picky about what we sell to our customers, and it has to be very good quality.
Well, you know your affinity for the quality just radiates from your Habano BarCafe, and I'm sure that people that have the opportunity to come to your shop will not only get a marvelous education, but they'll have a great time. You know, with this all in mind, I know that you love your Habano BarCafe house selection of cigars. Tell us about those.
The selection of cigars?
Yes, your
The
house. The one
oh,
your
the
house.
Okay,
yes.
sorry. We pride ourselves that we have a selection of cigars that we bring from Nicaragua. They're Cuban seeds, meaning families of cigar growers that left Cuba pre-Castro and post-Castro left with the seeds, and they planted them in areas that the soil resembles the soil that used to be in Cuba, and in those times when cigars were so famous in Cuba. Now, unfortunately, the soil is not fertilized properly. There is no quality control. But
you're talking about in Cuba.
Cuba,
in
yes.
Cuba. So fortunately, those families that grew cigar leaves in Cuba managed to replicate that in places like Nicaragua and Dominican Republic, and the quality is superb. The quality is just as good as it used to be in Cuba back then. So we bring it from Nicaragua, and again, like we mentioned before, we test them. We taste them, and we decide which ones we will carry, and we can recommend to people that are looking for a cigar that maybe we don't have. We say, you know what, how about trying this cigar? You want a strong cigar, you want a medium body, you want a light cigar. We have quite a big variety here that we can recommend, and people love it, and they come back every day. We have customers that are loyal, that come once a week, but every day we have customers that come just for those cigars. And we have other cigars, you know, as you see, brand names, but they gravitate to those.
Actually, our house cigars are our best sellers here.
Yes, they're our best sellers.
Well, I know the ones I've smoked have been delicious.
And you're smoking one.
So, when it comes down to, people have this stigma about the Cuban cigar. And you being of Cuban descent, born in Cuba, for you to make a comment about Cuban cigars falling off in quality because of faulty agricultural practices, why does Cuba still have this stigma about being the ruler of the cigar world?
Because it's a myth. It's a myth. The Cuban cigars were so good. They were so good that people long for it. You know, it's a nostalgic thing. And in marketing, I mean, they keep bringing it, the Cuban cigar. So yes, you can find Cuban cigars outside the United States, as you know. And there are some places that you can find good quality cigars, because there are places in Cuba that do make good cigars for the diplomats, for the government, but not for the masses. So yes, you may find some good quality, but not in quantities. And you have to be very careful where to get them in Cuba.
Oh my, I just heard a power of the people born to be fired moment there. I love this place. Oh yeah. Hey, talk to me, ladies. What do you want the people who understand the born to be fired lifestyle to think about when it comes to life, cigars, and their born to be fired selves?
Can you elaborate on the question, please?
Yes. What would you like the people who understand what it is to make firing themselves on a daily basis, clearing the junk out and hiring themselves back quickly? What would you like them to think about when it comes to life, cigars, and their born to be fired selves?
Okay. I think that we all live a very stressful life, and we fire ourselves and we hire ourselves every day. It's a notion that I learned from you, and I love it. So I think that when we fire ourselves, that's the moment to take a cigar in their hands, light it, smoke it, pour a beverage of their preference along with it, and take that moment to meditate, to release the toxins of whatever stress they went through, and then rehire themselves back. But that moment of cigar will give them that opportunity to fire themselves and to rehire themselves.
And I love the way you're encouraging me to have an adult legal beverage here today. Raquel and Liliana. Liliana, what were you about to say there?
Yeah, if I can add to Raquel's comment, I will say that the life of Born to be Fired is doing what you like, doing what you like to do, and doing it well. Stay focused on what you want, achieve your goals, and your goal can be measured in many ways. Every individual has its own. Just go for it and be fired for life.
Oh, yeah, and always hire yourself back, too. Hey, I love firing myself. Then I look in the mirror and say, you know you need me, so you're going to hire me back. And then I hire myself back, and I go, see, you did need me.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Liliana, how can our Born to be Fired selves, all of us together here, encourage other women to get in the cigar business wherever they are living?
Women, a lot of women have like a misconception about cigars, and they associate it to smoke and cigarettes, and just the notion repels them. But maybe just give them some opportunity to understand that it's more a culture than just a smoky place. It's an opportunity to meet people alike, to network, to socialize with people with quality. And when I say quality, I'm talking about people that like the fine things in life. That's what I meant. So just give themselves a chance to explore that without misconceptions.
Liliana, do you have anything you'd like to add there?
Actually, Raquel has explained that very well, but as any business, and again, I emphasize doing what you like to do. So if you are a lady that enjoys smoking a cigar, you might contemplate having a cigar business because it's something you love to do.
Oh, I certainly know I enjoy coming in here to a woman-owned cigar business.
Right, we encourage them to get on board.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you very much for taking the time with us all here today.
Thank you so much.
We wish you much luck and fortune in your cigar enterprise.
And it was a pleasure having you here all this time that we enjoyed deep conversations and cigar smoking. And thank you for spreading the word. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Oh, you're more
Thank
than
you so
welcome.
much.
More than welcome, ladies. So all y'all, make sure that when you're in Florida, whether you're in Miami, whether you're in Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood, come on over to the Habano BarCafe and meet these lovely ladies. Get yourself a fine cigar or 50 and light them up and have an adult legal beverage to take your blues and your mind in a different direction.
That's right. And we also have delicious coffee.
And delicious coffee.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would be the moment of the Born to be Fired interview here at the Habano BarCafe. I'm going to shut her down and enjoy smoking some cigars and having some of that liquid libation that frees my mind so much. Because I'm Zeke, and you know I was born to be fired.